Hi guys, this is Rachel from the Wagging Tail 603. Today we are going to talk about bite inhibition with puppies. A lot of you may never heard of that, don't know what it is, so we're going to go over that. So with a young dog here, like Bodhi, he has been doing the puppy biting. Pretty much what he's doing with his mouth is not aggression at all. It is how puppies understand how much they can bite, what's appropriate pressure, with other dogs, with humans. So we really want to make sure that we are addressing that behavior and we are never ignoring that behavior. And you can see he's going to have a good time right now, but we are going to speak about his biting. So a lot of times when he's at home with his parents, they'll be playing in the living room during movie time, and then he will start biting on their clothes, their hand, and it gets a little bit rough, which again is not aggression. It's him just trying to figure things out, but it's definitely no fun for the owner. So what we would do, there's a few different options we can try. So one of the first things we can do is kind of a redirection. We want to make sure that the dog isn't being rewarded for this negative behavior. That's also very important. So what I would do, Bodhi, come here. If Bodhi was biting, say, the couch, I would take him by the collar. We would give him a second. He would be leashed in the home. We would redirect him a few feet away from the object that he is biting, and we would be giving him a fun toy instead. Good boy when he takes the toy instead. This is going to take a lot of repetitions. Your puppy isn't going to learn this behavior overnight. So what if your puppy is biting you? That's going to hurt, it's uncomfortable, you have children, we don't like that. So, of course he's not going to do it now because he's being a perfect angel for the video. So if he was biting my hand, what I would want to do is make a very loud, startling noise. And you'll sound really silly and feel silly doing it, but that's totally fine. So if I was petting Bodhi and he went to bite, I would do something like, it's a big deal, dramatic, as dramatic as possible. We would walk away. We would exit the room. He can follow us, that's fine, but we are not giving him attention. This makes him understand, I bit mom or dad hard, or one of my siblings hard, it's not okay, they're going to stop playing with me. So that's another thing that you can do. There's other options too, but we're going to stick with those today because that's what we're working with Bodhi. Guys, so right now we are going to do a little lesson with Bodhi on recall. When can you start recall? I get a lot of those questions. Recall can begin at 10 weeks. I highly recommend starting to build that relationship with your dog as young as possible. Now remember, your dog just doesn't instinctively know what come means, so it's going to take a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, and a lot of patience on your end. So we have Bodhi here, this adorable golden retriever puppy, and his parents have been working with him a little bit, but we're going to go over some basics. Food is key. We want to do, if your dog likes their kibble, I highly recommend giving all meals when you're training instead of just in a bowl. That way the dog is hungry and he really wants to work for that food. So again, we're also bonding with them, we're feeding them, we're training them, doing all sorts of good things at the same time. So when you first are beginning with the dog, it's all going to be food motivation. We are going to be luring him. We're not doing any corrections or anything at this very young age. It should be fun and exciting and kind of like a game for the puppy. Puppies should only do mini lessons. Puppies are not going to work on recall for hours on end. Short lessons, make it fun. That is key. So we're going to get Bodhi back from the bushes. Good. So you see here, Bodhi did an automatic sit. Eventually we want to get there, but don't worry if your dog is not doing that quite yet. What is most important, the dog is coming within your bubble and making eye contact with you. You want the dog completely focused on what you're doing. So we're gonna try this again. He's distracted by the bushes. He loves to play. Bodhi, come. Good boy. We're gonna give lots of praise. Again, make this a fun game for your puppy. Bodhi, come. Good boy. Yes. Good. Another tip that's really important to remember is if we're standing to your puppy, we may not look as inviting. So another good tip would be to crouch down to their level and call them, good boy, good Bodhi. And we always want to say, Bodhi, come, because we're getting his attention and giving him the command. Eventually, we will just use the command, but this is all about learning, and he's very excited, very food motivated. All right, so another training tool we like to use with puppies especially is the clicker. You can get them really cheap online. You can get a 2-pack, Amazon Prime, I suggest for all of your puppy needs. So the reason we use a clicker is because it's the same noise every time we use it. Sometimes our voices may vary and we don't want to give a dog mixed messages. So you can start this in the beginning. You can do it once they start kind of getting things down. It's really your personal preference. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to recall Bodhi, click and treat. We want to make sure the dog makes eye contact so we know they're paying attention to us and nothing else. Bodhi, come. Good. And you can still praise, totally fine, but we want to make sure the dog sits or comes, makes eye contact, we click, and then treat. The click is mostly important on timing versus when you give the actual food. The food can be within 30 seconds. So sometimes multitasking can be a little bit difficult with your dog, so don't worry about that. So we're going to work a little more with the clicker with Bodhi. Bodhi, come. Good. And we want to make sure, since he's sitting automatically, which is what we want, that he is butt to the ground before we click, because we don't want him to think halfway is what we're looking for. Bodhi, come.